So here's a quick maths tip. So then we're going to look at risk assessment. And risk assessment is a process or a strategy used by businesses and organisations all over the world when they are planning particular projects in the future. And what they're doing is looking at different things that could happen, and they're weighing up, well, how likely is this potential problem to happen? And if it did happen, how serious will it be? And I'm going to show you how using multiplication of fractions that you can assess risk and decide whether something is high risk, medium, low risk, and therefore you can make decisions about how affects your planning. So I'm going to use the example here of trying to plan how I'm going to get to a particular place to attend a job interview. So there are various different travel options I could take. I could take a bike, I could get the bus, I could use the tube, or I could take my car. So let's look at one of these ones. I'm going to say, well, first of all, I'm going to start off by having my two different categories here. The probability and the severity. So the probability is, and I'm going to do a marker out of 10. Out of 10, how likely is there to be a problem with this? Okay, if there was a problem, how severe would it be? Okay, so I'm going to start off looking at my bike. And I'm going to say the probability that there'll be a problem with my bike, like for example, that I'm involved in an accident and my bike is broken and I can't get there, the chances of that happening are very, very small. I'm quite a good cyclist, so I'm going to say 1 out of 10. However, the seriousness, well, if my bike is broken because I'm involved in some incident on the road, then I'm definitely not getting to this job interview on time, so the severity would be 10 out of 10. Then we'll look at my car. Well, the obvious problem with the car is traffic. So if I'm stuck in traffic, well, what's the likelihood of happening? Well, if I'm going for an interview first thing in the morning, it's likely to be rush hour. I think there's, a 6 out of 10 probability that I could get stuck in traffic. If I get stuck in traffic, what's the severity? Well, it's serious. I can't do anything. I can't get into the interview. I'm going to be stuck. I'm going to be late. Maybe so late that I can't even do the interview. So I'm going to say that's a full 10 out of 10. Well, let's look at our fractions. In order to multiply fractions, it's quite straightforward. We multiply the top two numbers together, and then we draw the line, and then we multiply the bottom two numbers together. So I'll take the first one. We say bike, the numerator, so at the top 1 and 10, so 1 times 10 equals 10, and 10 times 10 equals 100. There. Over 100, and lastly we have 6 times 10 over 100 equals 60 over 100. So we have our rating out of 100. I mean, some people might use this as a percent because that's also out of 100, but I've got a rating of 10, 24, 8, and 60. And this technique allows me to assess which is the highest risk. I can see here the highest risk of not attending this interview on time is the car. Anything that's over a rating of 50 is high risk. Anything between 25 and 50 is medium risk. Anything below 25 is low risk. Looking at this one, it's suggesting me that the tube or the bike are the ones to go because they have the least chance of hampering my chances of getting a new job. And that is a quick maths tip.